Hi there, I'm Lori with Co-Creating Impact, and it's timesunshine.com. We're here with our good friend Debbie. How are you doing today?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for coming on and telling us a little bit about your story and what tools and resources you might have used throughout the years to help you in your times of stress.
Awesome, thank you. I'll just get into it. I was a stay-at-home mom for many, many years. And through that journey, I was really believing that if you find the right formula of being a great mother or whatever, that would get you some kind of outcome. And so, of course, that all came crashing down when my daughter at 17 suddenly left home, dropped out of school, moved in with someone she just met, and started a life of drugs. And it was very shocking. It was like the rug being pulled out from under me, my whole world turned upside down. And one of my first responses to that was to say that everything I had done was pointless, and that, I also believed that I lost my daughter, that she betrayed us, these kinds of things. And so it sent me into a real spiral of despair for a while, where I couldn't really get out of bed. Everything around me had changed. Fortunately for me at the time, I had a practice of, it's called self-inquiry. So the Work of Byron Katie, also inquiry-based coaching. These are methods that I use to question my thoughts and beliefs and sort of algorithms that we've picked up through our lives. And so thoughts like, oh, I've lost my daughter. I could question that. Is that true? And how do I react when I believe that's true? Who would I be without that thought? That kind of thing really revealed to me that I really haven't lost her. She hasn't betrayed us. And that our life up till now was our life. And this is just another sort of, phase. And that one isn't attached to the other, like it's not like we have to attach to these outcomes. We can do our lives and do our best and realize that the outcomes aren't all in our control. So that's really what this process has taught me. The other thing that really got me through was a group for families who had children with addiction. And so that informed me and educated me a lot around addiction.
Yeah, the groups are amazing, aren't they? And have you gone to therapy for yourself to work through it?
Really, it's my self-inquiry process. I have partners that I would work through that with. I've attended, different workshops. No, that combined that practice that I've done as well as the weekly group that I would attend. Those were really my main tools, and still are, frankly. It's not like I'm on some other side. It's still a journey where, my daughter still isn't talking to us. And so it's a practice of releasing and faith that this will all turn out fine in the end. And that also her life is hers. So I think sometimes as parents, we get very attached to how we want our children to turn out and what we think they should be, our expectations, if you will. And those can be really harmful to us, actually.
Yeah, letting go and knowing that they have their own life to learn their lessons. That's difficult. That's a hard one to wrap our brains around sometimes as moms. What is your top 2 daily self-management essentials?
Not to harp on it, but still self-inquiry is my main sort of go-to. So for instance, with my daughter not talking to us, I noticed that I was really getting wrapped up in the time that was passing. I was counting the days. Like, oh my goodness, it's now been 3 months since she spoke to us. And I was really getting obsessive with that. And so doing some inquiry around, I need her to talk to me. I don't know my daughter anymore, these kinds of things, with a really trusted friend. Relax that. I just can't go on enough about it. I would just encourage everyone to Google the Work of Byron Katie and also inquiry-based coaching. This method immediately changes my body sensation. I just relax. And then through that, also just building of self-value, just a constant connection to myself and trusting who I am and that I'm doing my best every day. It's a reminder that I say to myself.
And where is your daughter now with her addiction?
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I have to be honest and say I don't know. So because we're not in contact, um, I presume it's sort of the same. She just, yeah, she's just not telling us anything. So I presume she's out in the world doing okay as best she can. So
Wow, that must be difficult for you. I can't imagine.
yeah, it is hard. It's funny you say that because I couldn't have imagined it myself, and here I am living it. But again, I get the support through the group that I attend, and now I facilitate this group. And so coming up with lessons and learning alongside my co-facilitators, that continues to teach me so much, about addiction, about behaviors that are attached with it. A big premise that we teach at our group is that you didn't cause this, you can't control it, you can't cure it, but you can change. And it really is helping families see that their health matters. Because so often families just sort of relinquish everything about themselves and put everything, all their energy, financial resources, time resources, really into saving their children. And we're not saying to stop that. We're not saying to stop caring, but we are saying that you have to get healthy. You have to be healthy. You have to have strong boundaries. You have to realize your value. So many times families relinquish their values. They're all of a sudden mirroring the person with the addiction. They're lying, they're hiding, they're, becoming enraged, and all this chaos is enveloping them. And so getting them back to themselves and finding out what they value. And incidentally, this is a really important process for the person with the addiction as well, because when they finally get into recovery, they need to return to a healthy home. When they return to a home that is still steeped in the toxic patterns, the chances of them relapsing are even higher, because they come back to this environment that is not good, is not healthy. And so a family in recovery is actually helpful to a person with addiction in recovery.
Wow. And now, did you ever have, were there other people in your life that were addicted to a substance or alcohol or anything within your life?
Not in my direct life. There's some people in my aunts, uncles, sort of thing like that. But no, I actually didn't have a lot of familiarity with it, which, I think also is another reason why it just shocked me. And the thing too, this process has shown is it's humbled me, because I used to think, people with addiction, poor them, they come from hard families or something. I just put it all under that package. They've got pain, maybe abuse or what have you. But the truth is that addiction does not discriminate. It comes for anyone at any time. And, you could be in your adult years, well into your adult years. We've heard stories of, 30-year-olds who could become addicted to something. So I don't want to say it in a scary way, like you're not safe. You are safe. It's just that to think it's like someone else's problem is a mistake, because addiction affects all of us. Not only does it affect the family, it affects that person then goes to work, and maybe their work suffers, or they're talking with their friends or extended family. Addiction is all of our issue. And we need to come together and find compassion and heart and strength as well, because it's worthwhile to understand that it's coming from pain. But unfortunately, sometimes you have to set up these really strong boundaries. I was told that addiction is the one disease that pain is the motivator for change. And so often parents and families shield their loved one from the pain that they need to feel in order to change. So we unknowingly and innocently prolong the process when we protect them from the ramifications of their addiction.
Of their behaviors from the addiction, I can imagine, where they're going
Absolutely.
out or whatever.
They get arrested and we bail them out. They lie something, we protect them. They miss work and we lie and call in and say that they're sick or whatever. All these things that we do to protect them from the painful consequences. I'm not going to say that it's our fault that we do that. We're innocently doing it. We're trying to protect our child. It's like you're watching your child go to a saber-tooth tiger. Of course, you're going to try to jump in the way. But unfortunately, you have to let them face that tiger on their own.
Well, and I can also imagine it's just that one time you feel like, oh, this is just the one time they're not going to do this again. I want to help and I want to love and I want to, let's go seek therapy or do what we have to move forward. And it's just that one time. And then it turns into another and then it snowballs, I can imagine. Now, I always thought of addiction as people who were numbing themselves from some sort of depression or an anxiety or some sort of mental illness of some, because we all have stressors in our lives. And sometimes I think that some people can handle it better than others. And some people numb more than others. And maybe they're more prone to become addicted. We have addicted personalities. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but that's how I feel about it. What are your thoughts around that?
I mean, and I'm not a doctor either, so I can only speak from what I've been educated around, which is that addiction is caused by a complex set of factors. So, pardon me, it might be that. It might also be some genetic component, might be environmental. Sometimes people do have a tendency towards addiction than someone else. It's really, it's complex. It's a variety of reasons. I don't think it's any one reason. We've heard stories from people who talk about it was just fun at first. They were partying a lot as a young person, they wanted to, fit in or whatever the thing is. And what started off as fun turned into addiction. So it doesn't always have its roots in that kind of, I'm sure we all have this underlying pain. In fact, we do as humans, don't we? We all have this sort of place of lack inside. Some of us fill it, by talking with a friend or exercising or doing whatever healthy thing. And some of us fill it with an addiction. So I do believe we all have that kind of inner woundedness. But so some people maybe have a propensity towards addiction for whatever reason. What we like to focus on is not necessarily trying to find the cause of it. I think there's scientists out there, thankfully, who are doing that on our behalfs. But with our families, when they get very obsessed on the cause, then they are not doing the detachment work, the self-care work, the boundary work that they need to do because they're so focused on why did this happen to us? And that really is not the place that they'll find health in.
I can totally see that because I think I would go down that route. What did I do wrong? Why? I think I would go down that route. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's understandable. But it is the thing that blocks families from making healthy decisions for themselves. Because not only are they obsessed about what did I do, then they become obsessed about what am I doing from now on? Because if I think I caused it up to this point, then I'm so terrified that anything I do will continue to cause or exasperate or what have you. So it really is getting into this place of letting, we say the terms, you didn't cause this, and they go, okay, but it's really about understanding it. You did not cause this. We've heard stories from families and recovering addicts who say, I came from a really great family and I went to addiction. Another one, I came from this really not terrible family, but challenging, hard family, and I did not turn to addiction. So there is no rule,
Mm-hmm.
So people come from really abusive backgrounds and don't go towards addiction, and then some do. And some people have beautiful upbringings and go towards addiction. So, again, that's not the rule. Really showing families they didn't cause the addiction, and nor did the person cause the addiction. They didn't cause it either. They're not a child going, hey, I want to grow up to be addicted to cocaine or meth or something. So it's, really about educating parents about what addiction is, what it does. It's not personal to them. Really, once the person has an active addiction, then they're not stopping. It doesn't matter whether there's negative consequences or not. It really has to be something pretty powerful for that person to go, whoa, I need to make a change. And there is hope, by the way. There's lots of people that do go into recovery quite successfully. And so we like to show parents that too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And what one thing would you give a piece of advice for a family member who is dealing with a child or anyone for that matter going through addiction?
Reach out for help. Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do this alone. Addiction is bigger than any one person. You cannot walk this path on your own, even if you're, completely qualified, educated addictions counselor and you've got a family member, you need support. You need someone to talk to. You need someone to bring you to sanity, to bounce ideas off of. Yeah, reach out for help is the number one thing.
just like doctors need doctors, therapists need therapists, all need that, we can say as I do as I say. It's easier to help others than it is when we're in that situation. So that's beautiful. Thank you, Debbie. I really appreciate your time and your being an advocate for the addiction population. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a blessed day. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.